pulls him off to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
Exactly. So that eventually, when it's all said and done, the some of them begin to look at the father and be like, you know what? Yeah, my father was right, man. I'm glad he did that, because I mean, had he not did that, I would have been in something like this individual.
Can't.
So I'm glad that happened. I'm glad he did me like that. I didn't understand it at first, but now I get it. Go on, brother.
Verse 2, he that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Exactly. And then the father looks, and then the father's like, wow, look at my son. Look what he's become. You get that joy in your heart. Because it's like, wow, look at him.
There's a moral to the story in the the movie, the superhero 4. Because when he was cast out from his father Odin, he was cast down to earth, he took his hammer and he threw it away. He said, he that holds the hammer will have the power to, he that holds the hammer has the power. And he took the hammer from Thor, cast him out of heaven, right? When you see the movie, and then nobody had the hammer. And then Thor came down as an earthling man, a mortal man, and he had to fight his own battles. And he was losing all of the battles. And then eventually, cut a long story short, when he was getting the last beating that he was ever going to take from the frost giant, the massive giant, not the frost giant, the fire-breathing giant. What is it called?
The destroyer.
Destroyer, right? And he was getting his ass kicked. And then when he was knocked unconscious, left for dead, and you see Odin's feet he felt sorry for him. He showed a tear coming from his eye. He said, all right, then you've learned your lesson. Bang, he gave him back the hammer. Thor just jumped back up again and started licking it. I love that movie, because just because of his, there's a lot of action, yes, but there's a moral to the story, man. He got the victory again because he humbled himself and he brought back to his position, his original position. That's us. I've done videos on it, and in my last channel they took it all down. But that's us, man. The children of Yahawah. When we rejected, he took our power from us, man.
Yeah.
But again, we're learning our lesson now. We're fighting our own battles, all the stupid hullabulla we got to deal with now down here. But when we get, we're going to be exalted again.
Yeah.
Because we humbled ourselves. We learned our lesson.
So we're being rebuilt. We was cast down so that we can be built back up upright again. Yes, so read this.
Verse 3, we're on the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Yeah, and that's something that Esau don't want, man. That's why Esau allows you to have your children go to these schools. I call it brainwashing centers. And it was an idea that came from Prussia, because Prussia was doing that. And then they took that technique from Prussia and used it to their advantage, so that people can be indoctrinated under the powers that be, because it's really the governing body of people that control these schools. And the reason why I use the term government, or I say the government, because the word government means to control the mind. Yes. Government means control, the word meant means the mind. So they're responsible for what your children listen to or learn of. And this is why the new thing now is teaching children to be sodomites. That it's okay to be sodomites, and how you have variations of sexualities now. So they can corrupt your children. Because the intention is just to corrupt everybody else of those that are not a part of the secretive council that we are in, so that they can further lead the people in the way that they want them to be. Go on, brother. So yeah, continue with that.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he as though he were not dead.
And those individuals in school, those teachers in schools, they ain't no damn teachers. The real teachers are on the streets.
That's right.
The real teachers are those that are going to teach their people the truth as to who they are. So if you went to school and your teacher never told you that you were an Israelite, or never taught you the scriptures, basically he's just an agent or a teacher for the world. And the agenda of those that control the world and rule the world want to corrupt your life.
That's right.
All right? Bottom line in the story. Go on, brother. Let's read that.
While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
Exactly. So that's what they don't want. They don't want you to be self-taught, so-called self-educated. They want you to be under them, under their vibration, under their doctrine, so that you don't rebel. Because if you have your own ideology, you're going to rebel. Go on.
He that maketh too much of his son, that's that molly cuddling, shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
Meaning he's going to always be emotional. He's going to get emotional a lot. You want to break it down, brother. You break it down.
Alright. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds. You know, because this is the problem with the children of today. One thing I notice, when they do something wrong, it's usually the mother that steps in and says, no, leave him alone. Don't do that. So that's you justifying his wickedness. So he doesn't.
Basically, yeah.
He never learns from that first time because the
Yeah.
mother's always there saying, no, just let him off. So that's binding up his wounds.
Yeah, can't.
And his bowels will be troubled at every cry. This is speaking about the father of the son, because he's going to come back to a bad report in school all the time. The police are going to be at his door. Why? Because you never done what you were supposed to do to discipline your son.
Exactly.
Now he's all out and about being a niggard and so forth. You know, and everybody knows about him. So that brings disrespect upon what? The father.
Basically.
Because now that you are what your father, so that shame comes upon the household.
And you know what as well, I'm going to say this as well, because when you think about it, if you're mollycoddling your child more than you're disciplining that particular child of yours, when that child grows to a certain age, he's not going to want to deal with the world. He's going to be afraid of dealing with the world.
Spoiled child.
Oh, we got a red moon right here.
And that means
that's right in front.
That's not a good sign. A red moon is not a good sign. Oh, you're right there. Oh,
Blood moon, isn't it?
Yeah. That's another blood moon.
Where? Through the trees.
That means some shit is going to happen real soon.
Like between these trees there. See these two trees here? Between this.
Let me just see if I catch it.
No, you're going too far.
Come
in front of me. Come in front of me.
And the child left to himself.
Come in front of me, right this. Stand right.
Oh yeah! Come on, it's lucky.
He's going to do what he wants to do. He's not going to do what his parents told him to
I'm gonna film
do,
that later.
or respect some form of authority that's over him. No, he's going to do his own thing because his parents didn't raise him correctly, and that's why you have a lot of these little nigglets walking around and causing trouble and just being niggards. Because really, let's just keep it all the way funky. Let's keep it real. A lot of the parents that was raising these guys was shitty parents. Go on, brother. Let's read this. There's a lot of people that really don't have a clue how to raise these kids. They just had kids because they saw their best mate had a group of kids and they want kids, or because it looks cool. But they don't really want no kid. Go on, brother.
Exodus 23 verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. For I will not justify the wicked.
Right. For I will not. You can break it down, brother. Go on.
Yeah, we're talking about these parents. One of the biggest problems that especially mothers have is that they see their little boy, and whether the boy is 3 years old, 5 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, he's always my little boy, my little baby.
Yeah.
And when he's out there running around in the streets, selling weed, committing crimes, getting ready to stab people up, and he himself gets stabbed up, she's on the news saying, oh, but he was such a good boy, and this and all this kind of shit. And you can see she's bugged out her mind, and she's still a child herself, because what it is, a lot of these adults today that walk around calling themselves adults, they ain't adults, man, they're children.
Yes.
That's facts,
Yes.
So you got children having children.
Right, I've got something. This is verse 9. Cocker thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he shall bring thee to heaviness. Why? Because the police are going to be at your door every single day. You know, some type of madness. You know, someone knocking at your door saying he done this, he robbed someone. That's why you don't play with your child. And this is everything we're reading is spiritual first. That's why Yahawashi, he ain't playing with us. He ain't playing no games.
So lucky, I just interject one thing. One of the biggest problems as well is that these nigger women, when the police come around their house saying your son did this and they did that, what do they turn around and say? I've got aunts who did the same thing. Oh no, they framed him, they're making up rumours, and he would never do that. But I knew their children because they're my cousins, and I knew they were into wickedness. But then the woman, she'd go down to school wanting to argue with head teachers, argue with this person, saying, no, he never did this, you're making up, you're fabricating all these evidence like it's some big conspiracy. When the guy was out there doing the damn thing that the police said he was doing. I'm getting emotional because it's kind of
no, because I could add to that, but let him carry on. Bring
Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him. So you ain't supposed to be laughing up and down, smiling in your son's face, you know, unless thou gnash thy teeth in the end Why? Because if you do that, you're gonna realize, you know what? I should have been more stricter with my son. You don't joke with your son. You don't joke and play with him because he ain't gonna respect you. He's gonna take the piss.
And I want to say this as well, like, because what you're doing is you're basically giving it. You're giving the okay to your child that he could just do. Do what he wants to do, be the way he wants to be, and you're saying, well, he's my baby boy or whatever the case may be. You're psychologically giving him the okay to be the way that he is. When in fact the way that he is wrong. It's totally wrong. It needs to be corrected. So just imagine you as a kid growing up. No one disciplined you, right? And you did do things like, let's use school as an example, right? You used to go to school. You failed your grades, you didn't do the work in school, so now the teacher's allowing you to pass on a grade.
Yeah.
So now at the age of 8, let's say you're 8 years old, and that keeps happening to you, right? Now you're gonna have it in your mind, well, I don't have to do no work. I don't have to do anything to pass. Yeah. I can just sit on my ass all day and don't have to do anything and still make it in life. But that's not the reality. The reality of the matter is that you have to work. Okay? If you wanna do anything in this life, or you wanna get something back in return, you have to work for it. And another thing too, as well, a lot of people in the Western Hemisphere, they have this self-entitled mentality, where they believe that they can just, again, sit on their ass, and they believe that the world should be giving to them while they sit on their ass. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of these Edomites think like that. They think
too much at liberty.
Yeah, they feel as though basically, even these Edomite women, they feel like every guy's supposed to be looking at them.
Yeah.
Because of how they were taught. They were taught that, we're the princesses, and we're.
If I want you, I can get you anytime I want you. I hate that kind of spirit.
Yeah, but you have a lot of people like that because of the way that they were raised.
Yeah.
So when you discipline your child at a younger age and you keep getting on him, guess what? When he gets older, he's going to be strong-minded. He's going to also be disciplined himself.
Yeah.
Because he was disciplined at house.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So this is the thing, because you could have two brothers. You could have the older brother, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting more disciplined because he's the older brother. He can deal with it. But the younger brother is not getting disciplined because he's the little brother. He's still a baby boy.
Yeah.
But not realizing that basically that's playing on his psyche.
Yes.
And he's gonna remember that, okay, I'm the younger brother, so I can do A, B, and C and get away with it because I'm the younger brother. No. That's not how it goes. If you go off and you don't do some kind of form of work the right way, you will be reprimanded. It's like when I went to school, man, I was getting shouted at, timeouts and shit like that. Getting smacked upside the head in some cases by certain teachers that believed that I could do the work. So that's how I was dealt with in school. And then I got it from my father at the house. So all of that made me to who I am today.
Yeah.
So this is why I take what I do seriously. I don't play around with this thing.
Yeah,
I don't take this thing lightly, like certain other guys do. So it's all about discipline, man. Discipline is what counts. Now you need to be balanced also. You can't be too disciplined. You gotta have the balance. You gotta have some kind of love and that kind of sort of thing. And you get that from your mom. But as a man, you're supposed to be more disciplined than anything else. Go on, brother.
More. It's verse 11. See, we're the book of Sirach 30 and 11. Give him no liberty in his youth.
Right, give him no freedom, in other words. Don't let him just do what he wants to do because, he's just a baby boy. He's my baby boy. No. If he's a baby or he's 5-6 years old, he got to be doing something in the house. Something, according to his height, he got to be doing something. So he can be prepared for the real world, because the world ain't nice. Especially this fucking world. This world is not nice. So you have to be strong enough to deal with this jacked up world.
Yeah.
Go on, brother.
I just speak on something.
You're going.
Because when I grew up, I had something called youth centres, but they were only open for a certain amount of time. But when them youth centres were closed, what was it? Back to the madness, the gangs and all that. So them youth centres, they helped for a little bit of time. But once they close, what are you doing? Especially if the mother, and I always said the mother and father are at work. Who's raising them now? Esau,
Exactly.
the TV, or gang member. You know?
Because think about it, brothers. If you didn't have hard parents, if one of your parents weren't hard on you, you wouldn't be doing this right now. You wouldn't have the spirit to do this kind of thing. You wouldn't be involved in this had you not had the correct discipline. So it's very important to be disciplined, man. However you was getting it is good, because it made you who you are today. It made you be able to stand up with confidence and be strong-minded.
Yeah.
Rather than worrying about how people see you, how people view you, and just worrying about every damn thing. The spirit of your mom and you going, brother.
And wink not at his follies. bow down his neck while he is young,
Right.
and beat him on his sides
Right, and beat him on his side.
while he is a child.
Yeah, but you can't do that now because your child can go to the government and say,
Yeah.
my mom did this to me, or my dad did this to me.
Yeah, because the government owns your child.
Basically, that's really that's the
They
truth.
call it child abuse. Even if you're just beating them, they still call it child
It's
abuse.
child abuse because, like the brother Ahab said, the government runs your children,
Yeah.
and this is what they really wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Women's liberation came in the midst of that, and who funded women's liberation? One of the Rockefellers funded that because they had a plan and agenda so that everybody can lean and depend on the government. Because think about it, if you have a broken household is when a man is not the authority of that house. So with that being the case, now the mom has to go to work. She has to go to work, do what she got to do while she's at the work, come home and do some more work and raise the child. So she's going to be looking for some form of financial support, right? Somewhere. Because the man is already out. A broken household. So that broken household is going to what? Depend on government.
Yeah.
And that's how they've always wanted it to be. You see? Because they want to be in control of your life.
Yeah.
So basically your father, your daddy is the government.
Yep.
Go on, brother.
Bow down his neck while he's young, beat him on his sides while he's a child, lest he wax stubborn
Yeah.
and be disobedient unto thee.
Yeah, because the whole agenda of these elites, and I'm talking about those that own these major corporations, these media outlets, is to confuse your children, corrupt your minds, so that you can act like a damn animal and cause confusion.
Yeah.
That's the agenda. This is why they've destroyed what you call the nuclear family setting, so that they can destroy you. This world is about destroying you, not building you up, but destroying you, destructing you. It says that in Micah 2:10, it says, for this world is not our rest. And it also says, for this world shall surely destroy you. You see, so this is why we have to separate ourselves from the world as much as possible, because we see the damages that this world can bring about. You know, just like the rest of these idiots out here, they're no longer here around us anymore. You know, they're so caught up in partying and bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what they're used to. They're not used to being disciplined and doing the correct thing, because really the world taught them. Let's just keep it real. The parents don't really know too much because the parents were indoctrinated by these same systems. So what did they know? What can they teach their kids? They can't teach them anything, really. You know, so you just basically, you deal with your child accordingly to how your parents dealt with you, because they didn't really know any better. But we know better, so we know not to deal with this world anymore and to separate. Without me doing too much talking, let's continue to do this.
Not much on this. Lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and shall bring thee sorrow to thine heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Chastise thy son and hold him to labor.
Right.
Just what you were saying.
Yeah, you got to put them to work.
Yep.
You know?
If they're like 10 years old and they can stand on their feet, they have the power to hold things. Put them asses to work. Make them do dishes.
Yeah.
You know what? Elder, that's spiritual, because, see, the youths of today, when it comes to some wickedness or scheming on their own brother, or robbing them or killing or selling drugs, they're fast to do that.
Yeah.
But when they're told to take out the rubbish, do the lawn, nah, I can't do that. You know? These are the things I was taught from young. See, luckily I had a mother and a father in the house, so, you know, I grew up with certain principles, but they did eventually divorce. You know, but I grew up with them particular principles. Not to say I wasn't up to any badness, because they tried their hardest. But that was me, you know, that was just me being stubborn.
Yeah, and I mean that happens, because I'm not gonna say that I was all the way there, because I was into some nigga shit myself. So I'm gonna keep it all the way real here. You know, like, that's just how we are in Great Millstone. We're transparent, but what I'm saying is that if you don't deal with the children the correct way, because it's not about your emotions and how you feel about the kid. It's about you raising that child the right way. And if the child is wrong, you got scripture?
Got scripture, brother.
Okay, go on, read that.
Deuteronomy 21:18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son,
Oh yeah.
which will not obey the voice of his father, or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them.
And there's a law on that too. If you have a rebellious child in the ancient world, the parents could actually bring that child before the council and stone him.
Yeah.
That was in the ancient world. That was when we had the world on lock.
We
was going into the laws and that. So this is the thing. But in this society, you can't do that. You got to just allow them to be free. But guess what? Eventually, the prison systems will take hold of them and mess them up, and then they'll be raped in prison in the means as well. Go on, brother.
No, go on.
Sorry to interject, but I think there's a chariot through the trees up there. It's been there for a while. It's flickering and changing colours. It's stationary.
Yeah.
Look straight through.
Oh, you're right there. I see right
Yeah,
there.
it's flickering, changing colour.
Can't.
But
Yeah.
also, I've got something else. Was you
Yeah.
going to say
No, you go on.
Yeah, it's flickering. Straight where we at too.
Yeah.
Brother Dawada sent me an article. Some good news. May I bring it out? It says, this is from the Independent. It says, vaccine passports could be introduced in Europe by the summer, according to the German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
So check this out. By the time of summer, Boris Johnson, Bojo the Clown, I call him, right? He wants to, as he say, he may do it, unlock the lockdowns on June the 21st. So probably around that same time, they could bring this out.
Yep. It says, quote, everyone agreed that we need a digital vaccine certificate, Angela Merkel declared after a virtual EU summit. She said it would likely take up to 3 months to create the technical basis for such documents, and that lines up with exactly what you said, around the time when Boris Johnson wants to so-called ease this lockdown.
Yeah.
And it's basically just going into how it's going to affect traveling in Europe.
Go on.
I just wanted to bring that.
Nice, brother. Nice.
Because they got a plan. The plan is okay. We'll take you out of the lockdown, but if you get vaccinated, and we'll hand you a pass or some sort of papers or whatever information we'll give to you to show that you've been vaccinated, and you could do whatever you want to do because they know that people
The
don't.
thing's flashing different colours.
Yeah.
They know that. Salak, brother.
Yeah.
I gotta finish what I'm saying because they know that the majority of the people do not want to get vaccinated. They know this. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna use blackmail on the people and say, look, okay, you could be free, but just get the vaccine. And then we'll give you a passport. You go into a store, you can buy food. You want to eat, right?
Yeah.
It's very important for us to be sustained by eating food. So if you're taking food away from a group of people, come on, man, they're going to do whatever it takes so they can buy food and they can go travel. That's all needs. That's mankind's needs is food. And people need to travel. People can't just stay in one spot. Crazy? I'm going to stay in my, you got people that got all kind of amount of money in their account and they want to get access to using that money so they can travel. And you're gonna seclude those people to stay indoors. Fuck that. I'm getting vaccinated, baby. Go on, brother.
May I add to what you're saying? I was thinking about this just yesterday about the case of when they're saying in Israel that to enter supermarkets you need to have a COVID green pass.
Yeah.
If they bring that over here, it could happen to the case where when we're in our homes and we want to go to the supermarket, they might say, look, you can't come in Tesco's, you can't come in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
So what will probably happen then is we might have to end up doing ordering online, where you order your food on the website and they get it delivered to your house, and you'll essentially be under house arrest because you're not going to be able to interact with society because you're not complying with their agenda.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about that. There is a way that we could eat in that sense that maybe we could get food delivered. The Most High is going to take care of us.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can see how this thing's gearing up to that type of pressure.
Yeah. And it goes back to Revelations 13 and 16. And as you just read, a digital what?
Digital vaccine passport.
A digital vaccine passport. So there's no telling. Maybe that could be the chip. Maybe that could be the mark of the beast. No buying and selling, right?
Shall I read it?
If you can, brother.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive... And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Right.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man.
Because that's what it's trickling down to. It's trickling down to the point where if you don't have the passport that they're gonna mandate people to have, in other words, first and foremost, before you get the passport, you gotta get vaccinated. That's to show that you've been vaccinated. So basically, that could very well be the chip. That passport could very well be the chip.
So like you might also add as well, they've got the NHS track and trace app. And when you use the app, so like some places won't allow you to enter the shop unless you've registered your details with them. I was walking past the pub the other day.
Yeah, it's going blue, it's going red.
Yeah.
I've never seen the
I was
chariot.
walking past the pub the other day and I saw they had the sign up in the window. You can't enter unless you register your details with the track and trace app. So all this infrastructure is being built up, which is leading to the inevitable mark of the beast, because that's what this is. They can't just bring out the chip and have no infrastructure for it. They've been gradually building the things step by step to bring it to this point, and we're at the door now. So that's all I.
Basically, and that's why they set these towers, these 5G towers up, which is good for data. So when you're walking around with your chip, they can gather your data, because that's really what they want out of you anyway. They want your data, and that little chip inside of you can store all of your data, your medical information, what you eat, and how much sleep you get, every single thing about you. They'll be what you have.
How many times you go to the toilet?
Yeah, how many times you go to the
sick
toilet?
People, man.
How many times you done screwed your woman up?
Yeah, I was just about to.
You know what I'm saying? They want all of that, man. They want all that info.
I could imagine me being in the world I'll be in the world thinking the same way I'm thinking now, because that's like intruding on people's privacy, man. Fuck out of here, man.
And that's what it is. They want to be like the Most High. They want to be gods, man. The whole intention is, and I've been saying this, man, they want to be gods. They don't want to be allowing you to have no form of freedom of your own. They want total control of the people. And with that same chip, let's just say with the same chip, they can even put thoughts in your brain. They can put thoughts in your brain. Like, for example, Elon Musk, Neuralink, they actually got brain chips.
Yes.
So what's to say it's the same way he gave a demonstration in what is it? Showing that the chip can control the mind of the pig.
Yeah.
He could control you with that same brain chip.
Yeah.
You understand? And then merge you in with the virtual reality while they control you in the reality.
Fucking sick bastards.
That's where it's going, brother.
And you know what is messed up? That thing that you talk about, Elon Musk, he said that it's a robotic, it has to be done robotically. Right? And it actually moves the skull, right? To implant these receptors or whatever in your head. Yeah. And they said he could go on within a day. But the way he says it, as it's so nice, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
These words
and
are
the young
imagine
people,
removing a skull just to put this implant, right? But it has to be done robotically. No, man, I'm telling you,
that's madness.
I could see through the spirit. I could see us getting spiritual power and fucking smashing them to powder. That's what. When you hear about them kind of thing there,
it makes you angry, man.
Fucking madness, man. Jokers, man. Yeah. And I'm an angry person. You already know I'm angry anyway. You know.
Yeah, no, it's actually turned red now.
There's another one right above our heads moving. Right above these trees, if any of you
guys
guys see it.
Right there,
Yahawah,
Yahawashi.
Man, these things, it really does boost my faith. And that one on the other side is absolutely beautiful.
Ooh, yeah, right there. Yahawashi.
It's turning red. I've never seen that red.
Is that the sardine and the bow?
Is one moving? Is one moving? Is one moving?
Can you get it on camera, brother?
I've got it on camera.
There's one moving it up.
Oh, good.
You can see it up?
Yeah, I've got mine on phone.
Right there, so it's moving.
Well,
Hey, that's amazing. So we've seen that.
yeah, I see the one moving. Yeah, I see the one moving. But you won't get that one on camera.
Close to the end now.
See, that's why you gotta come out here. It's good to come out and teach this work, man. Rather than playing it safe and staying in your house. You don't see nothing in your house.
You don't see nothing in your house, man. Crazy.
Good.
You know what? No, I have seen a couple chariots in my house.
Oh yeah. I mean, in the house, at your house, you have to look up in the sky.
Sometimes when he wakes up early in the morning, he looks out of the window just to see if there's any chariots.
Good.
That was the first thing I started to see when I woke up to this truth, man. These chariots, I was in awe of them. I'm still in awe of them, but I mean, I was really,
I've never seen that red, blue, all types of colours.
Yeah.
If I might say, my own personal testimony, I'm seeing more and more chariots, more now than ever. So I'm what am I trying to say? They're becoming more and more apparent. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, because, and what I really meant to say is that when you're in the house, all you've seen is that computer screen. You're in your computer. You don't see the chariots, really. But I mean, obviously you do, because you look at your window and everything, and I do the same thing as well. I look up my window to see. It is chariots, and I mean, a lot of the times it's always chariots in the sky now. And we wouldn't really get this much chariots 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Now it's more apparent. The Lord is showing himself through his angels.
I used to get on Yakel, because I was under Yakel that time. I used to get on his. I used to send him texts. I see it. I was crazy. I was a bit, I was a bit over the top with it. I used to get on his nerve, and then I realized, no, stop you know, don't be getting on people's nerves, man. You know what I mean? He had his own problems, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So back to the scriptures.
I've got a precept concerning what Caleb was talking about because he brought up that article. Put this back in. Okay, this is concerning the vaccine and the max or whatever you want to call it. Proverbs 12 and 5. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit.
Yeah, you could go into it, brother.
Okay, so the thoughts of the righteous are right. Why? Because our thoughts are according to the scriptures. But the counsel of the wicked are deceit. The whole vax, the whole RFID chip, that's the counsel of the wicked. That's deceit. Because what's their counsel? They have the majority of people chipped, a human global database with a chip in their head.
32 or 33.
They want to turn people into a cyborg.
Try 33, 28.
Verse 6, the words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood. And that's what Esau's doing. He's lying in wait for blood.
Yeah.
Him saying he wants to put a chip in your head.
Yeah.
That's lying in wait for blood.
Yep. That's
But
right.
the mouth of the upright shall deliver them through what's he, and it says the mouth of the upright through what? Through our faith. That's what's going to deliver us. The faith in Yahawashi. The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand. And who's the house of the righteous? The house of the what? It's going to stand.
That's right.
That's it on that.
By Yahawashi.
That's it on that.
Yep. Yeah, go back to Jeremiah 23 and verse 6, brother. And then we're going to read Deuteronomy 33, right? And 28.
Yeah, see, they've got their own thing going on all the time, man.
God.
They want to let the kingdom go.
This is amazing. That moon's rising and
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that moon
this is
later
so
on,
heavy.
definitely.
The size,
Yeah.
not every. What many people can say? Yeah, I've seen a chariot.
And the blood moon at the same time, brother. You don't get that. That's only in GMS you get that. You know?
Jeremiah 23 and you wanted 6.
Yeah.
In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely.
Right, because the last thing, man, is this. Like, there's so many different things that have came to pass before the main thing. Like, for example, like the saying goes, save the best for last. And that's what Yahawashi is doing. Or should I say Yahawah, that's what Yahawah's doing through the spirit and power of Yahawashi. That's why if you notice, we don't know the hour, we don't know the day or the hour when the Son of Man cometh. Because the Lord don't really want us to know when he's going to come. It's really none of our business, really. That's between him and the Father, basically. But even Yahawashi doesn't know. So that prophecies can be fulfilled and all of the above. And then we can also go through our forms of suffering, all right? Be built up so that when the time presents itself, we're fully equipped and ready to go. Okay? So the last thing that the Lord wants to perform is to bring about peace upon his people, Jerusalem. So let's read this again. Because what Jeremiah was talking about is actually in the book of Deuteronomy 20, not 28, but 33 and 28. Go on, brother.
Jeremiah 23 and 6. And in his days, Judah shall be saved.
Yeah.
And Israel shall dwell safely.
Yep, and Israel shall dwell safely. So that's not going to happen, obviously. That'll never happen here. No matter how many times Jake seeks and begs while they're protesting for Esau to change their ways. You ain't going to get peace here, Jake. All you're going to get is oppression, getting gunned down, in some cases being wrongfully incarcerated, being in the hood, in the favelas, hearing gunshots. That's going to be your life in this life. But in the next go around in the kingdom, we're going to be in peace. So let's read this in Deuteronomy 33 and 28.
All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 28.
And also, brother, you can also get Isaiah 60, verse 15.
It says, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of